Poland was already on the way to modernizing its military, but Putin's invasion of Ukraine sped up this process because it led to a lot of orders for military goods. The Polish Minister of Defense recently said that because of how unreliable Putin is, and because the Russian Federation attacked Ukraine, the country needs to speed up the process of modernizing its weapons even more. Poland recently bought a lot of M1 Abrams tanks and K2 battle tanks from South Korea. As a result, they now have the most powerful tank force in all of Europe. As we keep looking at these numbers, we find that they are getting more and more interesting. But does this mean that Poland will take over from UK as the most powerful country in Europe? We're going to find out in this video. Poland did more than just buy more tanks and improve the ones it already had. They have also moved forward with plans to buy 96 Apache helicopters, 32 F-35 fighter jets from the United States, 48 F-A-50 fighter jets from South Korea, and a missile project that will cost a whopping $10 billion. It remains clear that Poland wants to make a huge change by doubling the size of its army to 300,000 people, which would make it the largest military power in Europe in terms of numeric military strength. Interestingly enough, Poland stands out because it's one of the only two NATO countries in Europe, along with the UK, that is ready to fight Russian expansion with force. This is different from the general trend in many European countries to be more peaceful or to put business ties with Russia first. Since the end of World War II, the United States and the United Kingdom have kept close relations. Some of these ties are cooperation in language, society, politics, intelligence gathering, and the military. In the meantime, Poland is becoming the United States' most important partner in Europe very quickly. This is because they want to build up their military to stop Russia from getting stronger. Although this comparison has its differences, this arrangement is similar to how the US has always supported Israel, and it opens the door for Poland to take a similar path to becoming a European superpower with the help of the US. But their growth isn't just based on their military strength. It's also helped by building a healthy economy. In the last few years, Poland's economy has grown at an incredible rate, making it one of the ones in the European Union that is growing the fastest. Due to their recent rise in economic growth, the country's GDP per person has risen to a level that is on par with that of Greece, Portugal, and Spain. When you think about how unstable Poland's past has been, with invasions not only from Nazi Germany, but also from the Soviet Union, this is a very impressive feat. It often happened to economies that were affected by the Soviet Union, and the Polish economy did the same thing between 1960 and 1991. Even so, after the fall of the Soviet Union, Poland's economy has grown so much that it's often called an economic wonder. By the way, if you like our content, feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. To stay updated, you can also turn on notifications for fresh content. Anyway, Poland's history with the Soviet Union adds to the country's unique path, which was already quite different. Even though it was never part of the Soviet Union, the effects of its attack on the country lasted for a long time. As a direct result of this, private business was limited and the economy was taken over by Soviet interests. Poland had to make, buy, and sell goods according to orders from Moscow. Even though the country might not have been able to do so successfully, land was taken over by the government. Pay was set by the government no matter how productive people were, and there was almost no competition between businesses. The main goal was to meet the production goals set by the government, and the general quality of the products got little attention. It was only normal that a centrally planned economy would start to run out of things the people need. So, at the start of the 1990s, Poland began to grow its economy in a way that would last. Like many other countries that came out of the Soviet Union, they had a hard time switching from a carefully planned state economy to one based on the market. This change led to bad things happening in many countries, like poorly handled privatizations that put a lot of money in the hands of a few people with political connections. There were also a number of things that were wrong with these results. Poland, on the other hand, was different from other countries because it didn't start privatization processes that were well managed and open until its institutions were strong enough to fight graft. Unlike Ukraine and Russia, which went through waves of privatization after the fall of the Soviet Union, Poland didn't have its first wave of privatization until 1996, when the economy and the government were more stable. People usually give credit for Poland's successful post-communist change to Leszek Balcerowicz, who was the Minister of Economy at the time and got a lot of help from Jeffrey Sachs, a well-known American economist. The shock therapy they used led to a creation of a stock market, capital markets, and a currency that could be changed. Price controls were taken away, and government aid was cut, both of which helped Poland move towards a market economy. This ultimately paved the way for the country to make itself a part of the European Union in 2004. It's safe to say that Poland's position in the European Union has given it a lot of benefits. It has given the country access to a market with 450 million people, drawn European companies that were looking for cheaper labor, and made it easier for the European Union to give money to help build up the country's infrastructure. Because of its unique location in the world, Poland got involved in a lot of wars and battles during the 20th century. Poland is in the middle of Germany and the USSR, and always keeps a close eye on Russia's actions, which have caused it to spend a lot of money on its military, and put it in a position to become a military giant in continental Europe. Poland's move from a communist economy to a capitalist economy has helped this amazing trip. Because of this change, the country now has a level of living that is the same as Spain and Portugal, which are fully developed countries. For similar content, have a look at some of the other clips on your screen. Until then, goodbye.